Hello, TEP families. Welcome to the math lesson scheduled for Thursday, May 7th, 2020. Today, we are on Unit 7, Module 4, Session 4, doing some more work with story problems. All right, so friends, before we get started, I'm going to role play a couple of scenarios, and you'll show me a thumbs up if this is something that a focus student would do, and a thumbs down if this is not something that a focus student would do. All right, here's your first scenario. Is that something that a focus student would do? Get ready to show. Ready, set, show. Absolutely not, friends. If we're trying to focus the best we can, we want to make sure that we're sitting up nice and tall. Here's another scenario. And action. And scene. Get ready to show. 1, 2, 3. No, friends, of course not, because we know that a focused friend needs to keep those eyes glued to the computer screen. And here is your last scenario. And scene. Action. And scene. Is that something a focus student would do? Get ready to show. 1, 2, 3. No, a focus student is not listening and dancing to music as they're watching a video. Though that's something fun to do, we need to make sure that we're in a quiet space so that we're able to focus and pay attention to the video. Our focus for today will be to review some of the story problems we wrote yesterday and to solve story problems with a special focus on using numbers, labeled sketches, and words to show our thinking. All right, guys, before we start doing any solving, there were a couple of work samples that I wanted to shout out. Now, if we don't show your work right now, that does not mean anything's wrong with it. I had a really hard time picking which students whose work I wanted to show, but the friends I'm about to show now just had super neat strategies, and I just wanted to shout them out for a moment. Now, let's take a look at Jace from LaGuardia. The reason why I wanted to shout out Jace, because I've been giving him feedback about labeling that number line, and he nailed it today. 2 claps into Jace. Let's look at Naya from Coney Island. I wanted to show off Naya's work because look at that neat handwriting. I know that anyone trying to solve this story problem is going to have no problem finding all the information that they need to help them solve. 2 claps into Naya. Let's look at Dana Shelley from Yankee Stadium. I wanted to shout out Dana Shelley's work because look at each of the items in her store. We're able to see clear labels on them. So once again, anyone trying to solve her story problem would have an easy time finding all the information they needed to solve. 2 claps into Dana Shelley. We'll take a look at Anwar from Verrazano Bridge. I wanted to shout out Anwar because he used a very neat strategy in solving. Take a look at that number line. He used big hops, so he's able to keep that neat and able to clearly see the labels on each hop. 2 claps and then Anwar. And lastly, Aaliyah from Apollo Theater. The reason why I wanted to shout out Aaliyah is because she used 2 solving strategies. She represented here with a labeled sketch, and then she went and showed her work on a number line as well. 2 claps and Aaliyah. Okay, so now that I've reviewed some students' work, we're going to have a special friend come into our video to explain their story problem and how they solved. You can go ahead and give a drum roll. Kenneth, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so here was Kenneth's story problem. Kenneth, can you go ahead and read that story problem to us?
Alexander has $50. He wants to buy 3 toys. He wants to get Woody, Buzz, and Forky. Does he have enough money? How much money does he get back?
All right, so now, Kenneth, you did like a lot of different things on your paper. Do you mind if we walk through each step to figure out what you did?
Yes.
All right, cool. So, I see that you did some drawings here. Can you explain to us what's going on right here?
So what's going on there with that join is called a talk bubble, and it's telling you how much money he has, what he wants to buy, and it's telling you how much, and it's asking you how much does he get back.
Okay, cool.
And my join, the bigger join is showing you how much each thing costs and what is in the show.
Got it. Okay. So you made a talk bubble based on the information from your toy store?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So I noticed in your paper I kind of broke off pieces of it so we could see different parts at a time. Can you talk to me about what's going on in step 1?
In step 1, what I did is I added the amount of what each toys cost that he wanted to buy, and then I added them together.
Okay, and why did you do that?
I did that because sometimes it helps me add the tens and the ones together.
Got it. So, but what were you trying to figure out? Like, where did this 31 come from? Where did the 2 come from? Where did the 9 come from?
The 31 came from how much Forky was. The 2 came from how much Woody was, and the 9 came from how much Buzz was.
Okay, and what does that equal altogether?
That equals $42 in all.
Okay, now I see that you used an additional strategy to double check your work. Can you talk to us about what you did here?
What I did here is that on step 2, I from 50, I minus.
Pause, babe. You're going on to step 2. I'm just asking, can you just explain how you double checked your work here?
Oh, I double checked my work by minusing 50.
Kenneth, can I pause you for a second, love? You're looking right here, okay? What I'm asking you for is what's going. Do you see where I'm pointing right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and so I see 32, I see 42, I see these numbers. Just tell us what's going on right here.
What's going on there is that it's part of step 2, but that's because I didn't have enough space to write a bigger number line.
Got it. And so were you just double checking your work here?
Yeah,
okay.
The number line.
So what did you add on the number line and why?
I added 30 from 31 from 1 to 42 because because since since 30 for I could get the answer 42 quicker than adding on a bigger number line.
Oh, got it. So you were this is like the exact same thing as you did in step 1, just in a different way?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, now, so I see here that you wrote Alexander has enough money. So that answered your first question. Yeah, he has enough money. Now, can you talk to us about what you did here in step 2?
What I did there in step 2, I from 50, I minus 42.
Why did you subtract 42 from 50?
Because because it could tell me how much money has left, and and it makes me answer how much money did he get back from the cashier.
Cool. All right. Is there anything else you want to add?
No.
All right. And so, what was your final answer?
My final answer was 42 and 8.
Okay, you said 42 and 8. Can you look at your answer sentence? What was the answer to your question? How much money does he get back? Can you read your answer sentence?
Alexander got $8 back.
All right, Kenneth, thanks so much for your help. I'm sure this will be so helpful for so many friends. Bye, Kenneth.
Bye.
All right, now, friends, something that I want to point out before we start looking at some other problems. You'll notice Kenneth earlier mentioned that he didn't have enough space to solve for step 2. But then here's what it would have looked like. He was subtracting 42, and so he had 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, and then he subtracted 2 more and got 9 and 8. Okay, and so friends, here is what Kenneth's solving strategy looked like in all after making some revisions, and that's what we always do as good mathematicians. We always try to go back and make our work better. So now, I want you to pause the video and explain to someone nearby what Kenneth did to solve his work, starting all the way at step 1. How did Kenneth solve? Go ahead and pause the video now to share with someone nearby. All right, friends, now that you've explained, let's go ahead and take a look at some other story problems from some friends in some different classes, starting with Jarrell from Verrazano Bridge. Here is Jarrell's story problem. Brandy bought 2 bats and 3 balls. How much money did she spend? Go ahead and pause the video now to write down an equation to match. When you're finished writing your equation, press play and we'll see if your equation was correct. All right, welcome back. All right, so friends, here's the equation we could have written for this. We know that each bat costs $10, and we know that each ball cost $1 because of the image that Jarrell used. And so our equation, remember that he had 2 bats, is 10 plus 10 for the 2 bats, plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 for the 3 balls. Okay, don't do anything else there. Just go ahead and keep your equation there, and we're going to move on to talk about some other story problems. I'm just going to read them now. Do not worry about solving. I will tell you next steps after we read all the story problems. Here we have a story from George from Coney Island. Mia has $15. She bought 2 blue kites and 1 crane car. How much money did she have left? Here we see the price of each kite and the price of each crane car. Our next story is from Rochelle from Yankee Stadium. Poppy went to the store and he had $59. He wanted a paint set and a teddy bear. In all, it cost $36. How much does he have left in his pocket? Say thank you, Rochelle. And yeah, you'll notice here that Rochelle did not label the price of each of these because it's included in our story problem. Next up, we have Julian from LaGuardia. Amy wants to buy a ball, a brush, and paint. How much money will she pay? And then we have pictures of a bunch of different items and the cost of each. And lastly, from Arceli, we have, you purchased 2 bags of M&Ms, 1 stuffed doll, and 1 souvenir. How much money did you spend? If the chocolate store gave you a credit of $30, how much money do you have left over? All right, so friends, for your exit pass today, you are going to choose 2 of these story problems to solve, and I'll quickly read through each of them again. Brandy bought 2 bats and 3 balls. How much money did she spend? Mia has $15. She bought 2 blue kites and 1 crane car. How much money does she have left? Poppy went to the toy store and he had $59. He wanted a paint set and a teddy bear. In all, it cost $36. How much money does he have left in his pocket? Amy wants to buy a ball, a brush, and paint. How much will she pay? You purchased 2 bags of M&Ms, 1 stuffed doll, and 1 souvenir. How much money did you spend? If the chocolate store gave you a credit of $30, how much money do you have left over? All right, so friends, before you pause the video to jot down the 2 story problems you would like to do, something to note is that these story problems are in order from the easiest to solve to the hardest to solve. If you are having a little trouble with story problems, I suggest that you solve the 2 story problems that are in green. If you're doing okay with solving story problems and you want to give yourself a little challenge, I suggest that you solve one of the story problems in green and then one of the story problems in yellow. Now, if you have been getting every story problem right and your teachers are having a hard time giving you feedback on what to work on, I want you to try to solve the story problem outlined in red because that story problem is going to have 2 steps. Go ahead and pause the video now to write down the 2 story problems that you would like to solve. When you are finished solving, be sure to write an additional strategy to double check your work, and then you can upload to Class Dojo. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to learn with me. You can pause the video now to write down your 2 equations. Have a great weekend, or not a great weekend. I'll see you on Friday.